So the first Rider Waite tarot deck I have to show you is this cute little mini one. So this is the miniature edition. As you can see, it's adorable, super cute size. The reason I bought this is because it just basically goes around with me in my handbag. I carry it around with me, so in case I want to pull a card for myself, it's handy having a miniature deck that I'm not too fussed if it kind of gets damaged or anything. So I take this around with me as a travel deck, and also you know, I can always pull my deck out if I want to read for friends or family. So the next Rider Waite Smith deck I have is the Practical Tarot Wisdom. So this is basically the Radiant Rider Waite tarot deck, but this is in like a nice kind of pocket edition, I guess, and they actually have the meanings on each of the card. So I actually like to use this as an oracle. I find the messages in readings are nice to pull as like an oracle message. As you can see, it just has a really good message. But obviously the messages relate to what the tarot card means. So in Rider Waite, you know, this is the card's meaning. Okay, so this is a deck if you want to learn from, I would say, and I mainly do have it, as I say, as an oracle, but also if I want to teach someone cards. I just wanted a deck that was Rider Waite but actually had the meanings, and I just think these you can perfectly read exactly, you know, look, grab that one so you can create magic. It's so simple. Yeah, I think it's one of the best kind of learning decks. So then I have the Winter Waite. This is the revised edition. So my box is a little bit tatty, but this is what the backs of the cards look like. They kind of look like wrapping paper, checkered wrapping paper, but this is beautiful. Like, I love Christmas. Christmas and Halloween is like my favorite seasons, and as you can see, it is just the winter version of the Rider Waite. So, but it, you know, look at this, the colors, it just gives you so many different messages, and I love reading like at Christmas time. It's just really great to kind of do readings with, basically. It gives a kind of cheery feel to it. So I do love the energy from this deck, but yeah, I don't pull it all year round, obviously. I literally just use this deck towards the last few months of the year, but it's super pretty. Yeah, it's a beautiful deck. So the next one I have is the Tarot of A.E. Waite. So this deck was quite hard to get hold of in the English version. So this has the original kind of backing from the earlier editions. So this is kind of like from the 1930s, had a pebbled back. Okay, so I really wanted that edition. I actually love the pebbled back. Like, I think this looks better than the checkered backs personally. So I wanted this version of the deck. And you will notice that they kind of have the same similar style of color work. So as you can see, it's more dimmer, but I really like the dimness, the fact it's kind of like a faint blue. It's just a bit more like pastel-y, I guess, than the like the checkered Rider Waite that's like in the 70s. So yeah, it's kind of true to the original color, I would say. And I'm not sure if this will be rare one day, so as it was quite hard to get hold of, so I just make sure that I look after this. So the next deck is the Pamela Coleman Smith Limited Gold Edition. So this is the Smith Waite Deluxe Tarot. So it has a gilded deck and book set. So the box is super velvety. So this is the backs of the cards. Now look at this. How beautiful is this kind of emerald green? And it has this gold foil on the backs. It's honestly probably one of the prettiest backs I've seen. Some people might think it's quite simple, but it's very luxurious. It has a very expensive kind of feel to it. Yeah, it's absolutely gorgeous. and obviously it has the gilded edges as well. So this is obviously a deluxe one because you don't really see Rider Waite with like gold edges, like gold foiled. So this is obviously not a deck that, you know, I overuse because I want it to stay in quite good condition, but I love the artwork. The coloration of these are like kind of more vintagey looking actually. The colours, the camera's making it look brighter than it is, but it has a kind of like a tinted colour towards it. So as you can see, this is a card that I just showed you from the Tarot of A. Waite. So as you can see here, the colour, it's not quite white. It's more stained looking. And what I love is if you actually look, there's really like speckles, like fine speckled kind of artwork. So obviously I'm showing you really up close so you can see these speckles, which obviously you don't get in the traditional Rider Waite. So I do love the speckly kind of effect of this one. So then I had the Tarot Black and Gold edition version of the Rider Waite. So it has this massive beautiful golden box, which is by Lo Scarabeo. So these are the backs of the cards, but the amazing thing about these cards is, as you can see, they're all foiled, gold foil with like black. So it actually does really stand out. I don't actually have too much problems with filming with this deck. Okay, it shows up pretty well because I know some foil decks don't show up so well, but look, these are stunning. And I'm actually so attached to this deck because this was the first Rider Waite Smith deck I bought when I was learning tarot, and you know, I didn't want to get the original, I just wanted a really pretty one, so I went straight for this gold foiled one. And I learnt with this deck, this is what I learnt with tarot, and I also did my first client readings with this deck, my first paid for ones. So it has like a close spot in my heart because I started off with this one. So if you are starting out with tarot, I actually would recommend this because even though you don't get the colours that you would with the original Waite, I learnt the general meanings, and yeah, you can get so much from this deck. Like, yeah, it's a favourite. So the next two decks are my favourite Rider Waite Smith tarot decks because they are vintage. Okay, they are super old, and I have that attachment to them for that reason. So this is the Rider Waite Smith deck, which is from the early 1970s, I believe. So the blue box editions you can find on eBay, and as you can see, it has the checkered backs. I love the cardstock of this. They're so easy to shuffle and work with, especially if you love your jumping cards like I do. But yeah, it's just it has given me so much guidance and clarity, and it's always been very accurate. Sometimes certain decks, I just feel when you connect to them more, you are more likely to receive more accurate responses, I guess, more clarity, guidance and answers. This is the deck I use for myself, okay? A lot of decks I just use for client readings, but this is like my own little baby. Yeah, and it has honestly been insane, the readings I've received from this deck. So yeah, I don't think I would part with it ever. Very much connected to this one. So my number one Rider Waite tarot deck has to be my other vintage deck, which is from the early 1930s. This is the Pam A edition, which is super rare. So you can see the box is a bit tattered, but it's expected for something that is like over 100 years old. So these are the backs of the cards. As you can see, it is the original pebbled back. I know, manifested these cards into my life. I honestly believe I did. and I still can't believe that I own them. They're super rare, especially the Pam A edition, because there are certain other editions that came out like in different years. But as you see, this is the antique version and this is the new one. So I basically have a new version because I bought this before I got the vintage, but you can see the difference with the backs. Obviously this is more newer and this is a lot more muted, slightly different colour, but you can just tell how old they are just by looking at the edges. It's actually a really thick cardstock, so it can be hard to shuffle because already I've kind of caught a little edges here, but I would never part with this deck. This deck, I still can't believe I have it. I've wanted it for so long and this is my number one. Okay, as you can see with the Sun card, it has this like kind of like a mistake here, but this is how you can tell like the certain editions of like the Pam A editions and the other ones. And this is the key to the tarot book that it came with. So again, this is a very special deck. So these are the 8 Rider Waite Smith decks that I have. And now you can see the different colours of each of the different decks, so you can see how they vary. And this is them all back in their boxes. So I hope you enjoyed my video of my Rider Waite tarot deck collection. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe so you can stay up to date to my latest collection, as I'll be doing a lot more oracle and tarot deck category videos just like this of my like top decks. So thank you so much for watching, and I'm sending you so much love and light.